Well, hello.
What's up, man?
How you doing, buddy?
Good. You?
I'm doing outstanding, man. I'm right here. I'm doing what I love doing.
I'm here. I'm
Hey.
slap happy from lack of sleep, but I'm here.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you made it, man. I'm going to be punching out the door tomorrow, so this was our last chance this week. I'm glad we could make it work.
Before you head out to the mountains.
To the brilliant mountains of Denver, Colorado, join all the rest of the Woo heads and get to go see the Colorado Orchestra back up Wu-Tang.
That'll be a pretty badass time.
It's going to be interesting. I feel very blessed. I'm lucky that my buddy lives there, so I got somewhere to stay, and he's interested. And he's the one that got us the tickets anyway. So, yeah, man, just blessed as can be. By the time folks hear this, it will have come and gone. I will have experienced it and hopefully gotten some good pictures and videos.
Well, and you can talk about it next time.
That's right. That's right. It'll be a good one. I hope it's all good stories.
I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So what brings you in here today, man?
I don't know, Doc. No.
Right?
Can't complain. You know, a few bumps in the road. Dog got sick, which, that happens. Everyone who has pets can understand, no matter what kind of pet.
Yeah.
That running around, normal life things that you got to deal with every day.
Hell yeah, man.
Thankfully, he's going to be eating nothing major, so that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Simple, small, good.
Yeah, man. That's what's up, dude. Yeah. Speaking of which, man, my mom came and visited for a couple of days right around my niece's birthday party. So she came into town, took care of some business, hung out. We got to chill on the back porch together for a couple of days and, share some stories and talk about some trauma and really try to heal. And then, it was great because then I went right into Monday and I had a really solid therapy session with my therapist. We discussed a lot of what my mom and I covered. Really heavy stuff. Really stuff that that you would hope that nobody would ever have to uncover and sort of unpackage, if you will, but for the sake of transparency, and we talk a lot about healing and wounds and whatnot. For the sake of transparency, I'm going to share this story, and I don't share it to shed a bad light on anyone. I just share it because I hope that somebody else will hear me and be brave enough to share the same kind of story.
Yeah.
So let me take you down this path. I'll try to set the setting, and we'll go from there. I'm 9 years old. I live in Springfield, Missouri. We're in a trailer park, albeit a pretty large trailer park. I got a few really close friends there. Unlike where I'd been before, I never really gathered a whole mass of friends. Here I seem to gather quite the little get-along gang, if you will, and there was a few of us that love to go and cause trouble together. There was a mixed group of us, but mostly it was me being 9 years old all the way up to 15, 16, 17-year-olds.
Okay.
When you all live in the same little hood, you sort of know each other, and you're not necessarily hanging out at the 17-year-old's house, but you might see him down by the creek. You might, and they might give you some shit, or they might let you hang out, whatever it was. That was the setting. It was a really wonderful way to live, in hindsight, in hindsight. Yeah, it was a trailer, all that, but whatever. My mom loved me, and she was doing the best she could, so I'm pretty happy about that. I feel very fortunate to be able to say that now after the thoughts that I've had over the past decades.
Yeah.
Had a lot to unpackage. So anyhow, there's girls in there and there's boys. It's mixed. It's not just a bunch of hood rat boys, but we're all trying to find our way, and my little brother and sister need babysitting, and one night I've already got plans, and luckily my mom let me stick with my plans. I don't remember what they were. I don't remember where I was. Nothing up into a certain point has come back to me yet. But what did come back to me, was I just woke up to it. So I must have dreamt about it and not realized it. But then when I woke up, it was there in front of me a few days back. So I digress. So they had a babysitter, one of the girls from this group that we would hang out with. And I'll leave her name off the table. She came over, and she was the one that was appointed to take care of my brother and sister. And when my mother left, and I left, I was going doing my thing. I came back, and it was, as far as I was concerned, I guess it was time for me to go to bed. I was 9 years old. I'd been out playing, whatever. Streetlights came on or whatever it might have been. My brother and sister are your responsibility tonight, not me. And that was an oddity, so I know that I loved that. And so anyway... So bear with me, folks, please. So the evening progresses and I'm in my room and I remember the lighting. I remember the temperature. I remember climbing up on the top bunk bed. And then the next thing that I remember is waking up with the babysitter on top of me. And I was confused. I remember being really confused. I don't remember fear right away, but more confusion. And then that confusion turned into fear, you know, sort of panic. But long story short, for whatever reason, you know, that 16-year-old girl proceeded to take my virginity from me. Somehow, some way, my bits and pieces worked in a way that satisfied her enough that she did what she was going to do. You know, I kept that to me for a long time. And when I, you know, let my mom know about it, of course, you know, fuck, that's heavy for a parent to take, you know?
Yeah.
And so there's no retribution being sought. There's none of that. It's just, now how do I deal with this? And, you know, Jeff, sit with my mom and talking about this, and then with my therapist, I realized I could be really angry, and it could affect me the way that losing my buddy Chris in the military or whatever, losing both my grandfathers or however, whatever loss has caused me to act like in the past. I could do that. Or I could go to that compassionate place and say, you know what? I'm sure glad I didn't have to live her life.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that it was not a bed of roses. Obviously, she was not in a good way. And I know that I remember her mother all too well. She was the superintendent of the trailer park. A larger lady, very bombastic personality, very booming voice, and very sort of intimidating. But that was her daughter. And so anyway, I guess if some random person that I know from some year way back heard this, they might put two and two together. But anyway, that goes without saying. I experienced it, and I kept it to me for a long time, and it led to a life of, you know, some trauma, and it grew into things on its own, and I never dealt with it. I never remembered it. I never really knew more than, I did have my first encounter like that when I was young. It was very traumatic for me. Okay, next. But to wake up to her face and her breath and her bones and the light, the way that it was hitting me and the way that I stared out the window at the light for escape.
Mm-hmm.
I remember all this now. Like, it just come fucking rushing back in, man. And I sobbed. I cried a little bit at first, you know, like the first few moments when I realized what I was remembering. But then I got so happy. And I don't mean happy like, oh, yay, let's go down a water slide. I mean happy with myself for not going to a dark place immediately.
Yeah.
For being like, man, you know what? Damn, that sucks. That sucks for everyone. Because, you know, maybe it didn't haunt that person, but maybe it still does. Or maybe that person turned to a life of really horrible drug use or whatever it might be. I don't know, and I don't want to know. I don't ever want to meet that person again. I don't need that. What I need is to know that I can forgive and move past in a healthy manner.
Well, and that's what I think, besides your situation, but most, even if you're not going to encounter that person, like a lot of people always have regrets when someone dies, you know, it's that important thing of having that forgiveness to that individual, but more so forgiving yourself if you didn't get the time to do it. Because obviously you're not going to seek this person out and go, I need you to apologize for this.
No.
Thing. Yeah, no. But it's you forgiving them from a distance to allow yourself to heal. And that's a big thing, especially in those scenarios, because sadly it seems more common, I think, because more people are verbal, let alone there's a lot more people out there to help you with this.
Right.
I wish it was the other way around. It was something that was very rare.
Yeah.
But it's not. You did the right thing in just accepting it, but trying to then forgive the scenario of what happened and telling that person, I forgive you, and then moving on. Like you said, you could dwell on it, go back into a dark hole and, you know, and just let it eat you alive. Yeah.
Who knows what could have happened or what would have. But I also wonder how much of that led to years of just anger and, fear and shame and guilt and all that other shit, because it wasn't until right around there, I think, when I recall my first real encounter with like rage, with pure unadulterated rage. Like my chest is on fire, my stomach's churning, my hands are shaking, and all I want to do right now is kill something.
Yeah, I don't think many people experience that, and it's not to say it's a good thing, but
right,
where you're just so worked that it seems like it would take an army to calm you down.
Yeah. So now I sit here, retrospectively and introspectively, and I go, well, man, that sucked. It sucked for me. It sucked for the universe that night, and however many other times it happened. It sucked for that person because they were looking for something in the completely wrong place to get some sort of attention or affection or some sort of control. Whatever it was, I don't know, and I never will know. But I will tell you this. I feel more in control knowing that I have no control over any of that shit that ever happened, except now I can allow myself to move forward. That is a new kind of control that I've never known before. It's pretty fucking outstanding.
Yeah.
For me.
No, and I think that's the biggest thing, and I'm sure, through those things of others who suffer from this, and I know some people, not like I know you, on that level, but acquaintances of people who've, sadly had these experiences. And like when my former job, she was one of my wholesalers, military, happened to her, not uncommon.
Yeah.
She wrote a book about it. Became a best-selling book.
Sure.
And I think, like you said, to start off, telling people these things, no, it's not to draw attention or boo-hoos. It's, if it's happened to them, sadly, they can find peace at some point. It may take 30 some odd years. It may take a year. It may take a lifetime. But to know that you're not alone in that boat, there is an end that can be some beautiful light at the end of the tunnel, to find forgiveness for that. And then hopefully through all this, those individuals that need that help, hopefully they found it some point in their life so that they're not, continuing on this downward spiral and, affecting other people's lives.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Well, obviously it affected me on up into my young adult life and my military career. It affected how I raised my children. It affected how I was a husband to my wife. It shaped a lot of things unbeknownst to me, but now I start to peel back the onion, backwards a little here, hindsight 2020, if you will. And you go, oh, wow, yeah, I wish I could have seen that one coming. And, wow, I should have known better than going down that route. Or, whatever it is, you can look back now and you can say, yeah, you didn't know then. You wish you would have. But if you would have known then you wouldn't be learning the fucking lesson that you're learning.
Well, yeah.
So you have to.
Anyway, at age 9, you would have grasped anything of a life lesson, truly.
No, but that moment combined with the poverty that I was already being a part of, that system of poverty, and being raised by a teenage mother, in, at that point, Springfield, Missouri. Not a lot of positive shit going on, but to be able to spring from that to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, until finally all it was me clawing out of a fucking hole, one fingernail bit of dirt at a time, until finally I looked back and said, holy shit, I made it out. Because that's what I can say now.
Well, yeah, you can see kind of how it catapulted you to the different aspects of your life.
I have a lot to do still. I have a lot of fucking work left to do. But holy shit, if I am not proud and as happy as a peacock to be sitting here with you, as opposed to where I could have been, or some might say I should have been given my circumstances. So not to pat myself on the back, but to show, fuck, it can be done.
Yeah. And I think that's
if you want change,
people need
to
to
be
take
done.
Away from most in life is, the road you started on doesn't mean that's where you're going to end or continue on, or where you came home from your childhood, or what childhood traumas that we may have experienced. And this is a whole nother thing we could dive into, but like so many things happen in our childhood that most of us can't recall. I forget what age they say you really start forgetting, but, certain scents, certain things can, like the other day we were driving past like a farm of cows, and that smell, if you've ever smelled cow manure, to me, that takes me back to my family's farm.
Yes.
And it's like, to me, it doesn't stink. It brings back happy memories. And I can think of times and things can pop in my head when I was young. I can't recall the ages or, how old I was, but those things can trigger things. And we'd be amazed in our lifetime if you had to rewind time to your childhood. There are things that are suppressed naturally by your brain to allow you to function and go on, that if you've done things like Jeremy has done, therapy, meditation, other types of things over the years to truly try and heal yourself, you will uncover those things and unlock those things that you've naturally suppressed. And that's why I think a lot of people don't realize when you begin to try and heal yourself or begin to truly dive into that spiritual realm of healing, that you will unlock doors. Like in the 4 agreements, they will talk. You will dive into things. You will open up doors. You will recall things that you're like, oh man, I see why this makes me act this way because of this situation in my childhood. And now things that are remotely similar or just hit that right edge, it lights the fuse that causes you to get set off when it really shouldn't, because of something that happened years and years and years ago that you're trying to, reprogram, unplug, redo everything that sadly has been programmed in the brain to reprogram it to, I'm going to be a new person. I'm going to stop these old habits, these old feelings, these constant negative reactions to things. I'm going to do. And that's if anybody has had therapy or you read some of these books, they'll go over it nonstop. Yeah. We'll dive down and it'll be rough. It'll be dark, and then you'll come up and down, because each time you're going to open up a new little thing, and it'll get a little harder because the doors you open are going to bigger and harder situations that you may have buried down deep or now are strong enough to face reality to hit them head on and, hopefully win that battle.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And it's unreal how opening up your mind and opening up your heart and, allowing yourself to be more of an antenna as opposed to a microphone all the time. Yeah. And I mean that in the metaphorical sense. When you're out and about, maybe you're realizing things, you're viewing things, you're hearing things, as opposed to forecasting the shit that you were thinking about in the office out into the world on your drive home. You know what I mean? It's a different vibe. It lands you at a different place. You cross the threshold into your home, a different person, depending on how you've carried yourself home. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
I think it's fair. So I think that, being able to look back and say, okay, I know whenever I get home how entering the home has an effect on the energy, and it needs to be a good, positive energy.
Yeah.
But it didn't change, Jeff. The day that I realized that I remembered all this shit that had happened to me, it didn't change the way I came into the house. I still came into the house and I shed that shit off. And I said, get off of me.
It's probably more of an aha moment kind of thing.
Yeah. It was like a holy shit. It wasn't as much of a, like, I've been taking punches. I can take a punch. I'm good. I know what pain is. But when there's confusion every time, when you're like, fuck, why?
Yeah.
Like, why do you, ow, why do you keep, ow, stop.
And that's
eventually, everything becomes like a reaction, and it doesn't need to be.
Kind of slip the punch, a little grace. And that's things like my wife's pointed out, because, we read, similar things, but a lot differently, but a lot of things of like things that happened in your past, that bring upon who you are. As we've stated many a times, going back, your DNA is made up of the previous 11 generations. And then our children is 11 generations, so you knock off that 11th, that 10th goes to them, and then they make the 11th.
Yeah.
All these things that are in there, these things that trigger you, if someone knows you well enough or can see other scenarios going on, they can go, you act like this because of this event or this person or something similar to this. They may not know, but you can start connecting the dots and realizing that when XYZ happens, you do this. So something in this equation constantly happened either in your youth, young adult sense, adulthood, that constantly keeps you going back. And that's the same thing like 4 Agreements talks about what to say when you talk to yourself. That book does the same thing as you've been programmed since you were a child, and you're trying to undo the things that parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, teachers,
Yeah.
things you've seen in TV, whatever. You're trying to undo things that you thought were molding you to be what you should be. Then as we get older, we become more aware. I think as we become enlightened within ourselves, not like enlightenment is the Eastern way, but you become more enlightened and attuned to who do you want to be and what do you want to create for your life. You realize all these things from old, you're like, I don't need that. You start to shed. You're kind of shedding the snake skin, a little at a time. I don't need that. And it'll come back, and you're going to fight it and bring it off. It's always like this shadow that's looming until eventually you kind of shed that dark skin and you're rebirthed.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it's there's a lot to that when you're shedding that skin. You may be in a dark place. Some may call it depression. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe you've got a touch of that, or maybe it's just some really introspective, like, hey, this hurts and I need to deal with it. But whatever it is, you have to hit it head on. You can't let it linger. You can't let it just fucking bother you, and especially if you've known about it. If I would have brought this up to myself in my dreams and then realized it in life, like, oh my God, I do remember this going on, and start to like get these snippets of trauma. If I would have kept all that in and not said, hey, Mom, I need to talk about this. Hey, sweetheart, I need to talk about this. Hey, Jeff, I'm going to talk about this on the show today. If I don't do these things and I keep it all in, the next time I stub my toe, it might as well be World War II, World War III.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a lot of people. You won't be maybe as vocal like yourself or have the courage to do so. It might take time. If we were on time, you probably would not. And let's say this existed, you probably wouldn't have done it. Right. But in time, hopefully, everyone who has some sort of event that happened in their life that plays a continuous role in their everyday trauma or mental heartache, that you find a way to heal from it. But you also have to be aware of those things as you become more aware over these past couple of years. You see these things and you're following the slight trail backwards to figure it out, then to fix those past transgressions, then to move you forward in a good light. If you're going to start drumming up old things, which we've done, you need to do it so it has a positive outcome. You're not doing it to go backwards to bring up old emotions, which it will do.
Yeah.
You need to dive back so that you can constantly move forward. Bring those feelings to the surface, but don't let them linger and don't let that situation control you. Someone that we both know on their social media today talked about, your past doesn't define you.
Right.
Where you come from, those types of things. She said, I think like the biggest thing is your attitude, gratitude, and I think mentality is one of them, if I'm correct.
Right.
But those types of things is true. Gratitude for the life that you live. Again, if you're listening to this or any modern podcast, you're ahead of the world.
Yeah, of course.
Your attitude to the scenarios. You could sit here and constantly just be an asshole, depressed person the rest of your life, but one little moment of all the things you've encountered in your life, you're not going to let defy you to, okay, and that's easier said than done. But then having the mentality of, I'm going to make myself stronger here to withstand those future punches that come. And it'll just be like, oh, I slip. Oh, I ate one. Okay, I ate that punch. But I'm now stronger across the board to whatever scenario hits.
Yeah.
We should be able to. And that's things I try to deal with too. Like things that get me just floored. I do not have patience. Like that's not my virtue. And I can think of things in my past as young years too that get me floored from patience and stuff. And it's others around you. You learn from others who don't have patience, and things like that.
The patience is just one thing. If you could think of your life as like a canopy or a big tent over your head, right? And you're looking up at it and there's little fucking holes everywhere, right? And the rain gets in, the fucking weather gets in, snow gets in. And let's say you're living under this canopy that is your life and you see the holes and you go, man, I think I know how to patch that one up. I think I can do that. But I got to take this whole fucking tent down to the ground.
Yeah.
I got to get wet or it's fucking 20 below or it's snowing or it's fucking 95 degrees. You got to take the tent down. Okay, but you take it down, you fix that patch, you get it back up in there, and you look around, you go, fuck.
I miss that.
That's
one.
cool, but I got I could see like 5 million more holes. Okay, so here's the thing. You know you can't fix everything at once, but do you want to be the motherfucker that's sitting under the canopy that's just getting wet and never fucking fixing anything? Or do you want to be the motherfucker that gets up, pulls the tent down, pulls the canopy down, fixes it, says, boom, I learned how to do that shit. Oh, there's somebody next to me. Let me show you how to do this, a la what we're doing here. Now you fix this shit, you put it back up in the air, and then we come back next week and we're going to tell you how to fix the next motherfucker too. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at.
Very well put.
That's what I mean. You cannot sit and let every hole in your canopy go undone because it will break down. And by the time you're 50, 60, 70 years old or however old, maybe 20 even, you may break down early and you may go, fuck, I have no canopy. Mm-hmm. I don't know who the fuck I am. I've been trying to do this. I've been trying to do that, but I've never taken the whole motherfucker back down to the ground and said, let's start right here.
Yeah.
And see what we can work with. What do I got? Where are my nuts and bolts? Do I got wood? Do I got metal? Do I have water? Do I have food? What do I have? Let's get started back from the bottom.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. Fix the fucking tent, people. Fix your canopy. Whether it's you don't have patience, whether it's, fuck, I haven't talked to my sister in 3 years, whether it's whatever, because I tell you what, until you start going back and you making every little fucking hole, right? Mm-hmm. Use of the English language there, right? You can't be whole until you fix the holes. You cannot still be mad at somebody and be like, fuck, my day is great.
Yeah.
No, it ain't. There's still some shit in your bucket that you haven't dealt with. Maybe you don't deal with it today. Maybe you don't deal with it tomorrow. But just like that sack of paperwork on the kitchen fucking table that the wife keeps saying or the husband keeps saying, when are you going to finish this? We need that.
Every day you should be trying to empty a little bit out.
Fucking right, dude, from somewhere.
Or like, patching the tent every day. If you can't work on this massive hole, obviously that's going to take a long time. You start on the smaller ones.
Yeah, man.
Of what happened last week of something, okay, I can fix that one because I know what I did. Yep. Okay, sew that bad boy up. And you move to the next. Each day you should be always doing something in that manner to progress you forward. And you will get knocked back.
Yeah.
You will get knocked the fuck out and you will get pushed back and then you will have to get back up. Wipe the blood, so to speak, the sweat and stuff from the face, and then you will get back to sewing and patching.
If you don't get your ass knocked down, though.
But that is life.
You can never look at yourself in the mirror and say that you got back up. No. How fucking cool is that? You've got to get your ass beat to be able to do that.
There might be a handful of people in the world, but most people go through, you face some adversity in life. Mm-hmm. It's near impossible. You could have, all the wealth, but at some point death will hit somewhere in that line. Tragedy, sadly. Like, you can't say that you need it. It's crazy to say, but you need to have those moments of life because it fortifies you to be able to handle the next encounter or whatever life throws at you.
Yeah. So you can't go back and say, okay, I'm going to undo this trauma that caused me to be a certain way. You can't do that. You can't. But what you can do is you can get it out there. You can tell people, hey, this shit happens. It happened to me. You may have never in your wildest dreams imagined that it would have, but it did happen to me. Mm-hmm. Happened in my own house where my mother thought I was safe, where I thought I was safe, where my siblings thought I was safe. It could happen anywhere. So what happens when it does? What happens when you realize that something's going on like this? What happens when you realize that it did happen to somebody years and years ago, but they're still like, they don't want to talk about it. They don't, what does that do? Everybody has to fix their own shit, but you could be the water that keeps hitting them in the same spot that reminds them that there's another way, that reminds them that there's a way out of the trauma.
You're the catalyst to bring it up to get the resolution.
You can't do the change, you can't do the work, and it might be weeks, months, years, but at one point they're going to look at you and they're going to go, oh,
but
that's what you were talking about. Now I get it.
That's what, meditation, readings, your therapist, friends, other family, like that's what they do. They see those things to teach you what do you need to change and do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. It's your mirror.
Mm-hmm.
It's your mirror. It's your reflection.
Yeah, it's very true.
And if sometimes your reflection contains lies, and this is something that I'm reading about in another Don Miguel Ruiz book. It's like Mastery of Self or Mastery of Love. Mm-hmm. It's another really good one. But it goes on to talk about like let me see if I can put it a little bit more poignantly. I listened to it while I was cutting the grass this morning on Audible, and it was like, by the time I was done with my grass, I was done with the book. It was like 9 or 10 chapters, super easy. But it's like, if you can't be honest with yourself, if you can't master your word, those 4 agreements, all those things, you have to be honest with yourself and say, I still need work, right? Like, you fuck up. Like, I was cutting the grass and I was getting angry because there's, piles of dog shit that nobody's picked up, whatever. And I'm like, well, I mean, that's on me. I didn't come out and check beforehand.
Yeah.
That's on me. So I can't assume that kids know they're supposed to come out and do this because dad's going to get up extra early today and cut the grass.
Yeah.
But I very could have easily went in, bang, 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 wake up, get out there, do this, caused a whole scene.
Yeah.
Proving a point, what my machismo or whatever that does, but that does nothing for the real situation, which is you saw something, you had a choice to make. It was a reaction.
Yeah.
Which way are you going to go? You going to get mad? Or are you just going to be like, it happened. They said it would happen. They said shit would happen, and there it is.
Yeah.
It's happening.
And
just go around it.
That's just like that. You know, driving down the road, you could be littered with potholes. Doesn't mean you're going to miss everyone.
Yeah.
It's
things. And that's, again, going back and being okay with yourself, with messing up. You will never be more okay with yourself for messing up than once you admit to yourself that you're going to mess up every day.
And learning to forgive yourself for those.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, there becomes a point where you go, well, there's no way I can be expected to be perfect. And as soon as you have that realization about yourself, you go, well, I can't expect other people to be perfect either, which also means they probably shouldn't expect me to be perfect. Even though really we all are perfect in our own way. We are fucking perfect. We are created to finish each other. Mm-hmm. We're like puzzle pieces when we get together and everything just works. The sparks go. Yeah. The puzzle piece thing. You can't fit in to the puzzle until you stop fucking, living based on lies and the assumptions that you've made and the lies that were handed down from your teachers and their teachers and their teachers. And then not only, the lies, but how about like the carrot is always like, well, you don't want to be punished. Mm-hmm. So you better do this, right? Yeah. Well, that's a lie. And when we're children, we accept those lies and we say, okay, well, I guess
taking faith in those individuals who are older.
I guess that this motherfucker knows what he's talking about. And he's telling me if I want to get ahead in life, I got to do good in school. If I want to get money, I got to get a good degree. If I want to do this, I got to do that. If I want to be fit, I got to eat 3 meals a day. I got to exercise 3 days. All these things, we all bought it. We all said, our parents did, we all said,
we're all guilty.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. But you know why we did that? Because when we were kids, we were perfectly fucking perfect. We were so fucking perfect in God's eyes or whoever's eyes you want to say. But parents had always say, no, you're doing that the wrong way. No, you're wearing that the wrong way. No, you said that the wrong way. Eventually, the kid learns, fuck, if I want to be heralded, if I want to be applauded, if I want to be loved, or to have an effect of some kind to be heard, I have to do what they're telling me. So I have to stop being me. I have to do this thing to be this way, and then you build on it. And then the teacher says, well, if you got to do this, and then 3rd grade, they build on it. And then next thing you know, we're fucking sitting here trying to unbuild it all.
And that's the point of what I was saying earlier, when you guys get to that point of your life where you're looking to, I say enlightenment, not nirvana, as that will be kind of confused with, but you're getting to that point of enlightenment where you finally see who you are, what religious beliefs you want to have, this and that.
Yes.
Or what you want to think or how you want to eat. God, I can go down the list of different ways I've ate or trained over the years and what works and what doesn't and yada, yada, yada. You have to go down those roads, try them for yourself. Okay, that diet or this way of eating, it's really not for me. Cool. Turn around and back we go.
That's right.
But you learn from that. And it's those things where you have to branch off and try these things where you can get, how many people, that's the dumbest thing. Well, I'm going to try it on my own. I want to make that decision for myself. not because 100 of you tell me it.
Well, it's like when I decided to try to be a vegetarian or to have a vegetarian diet for that period. It was supposed to be all of 2021, but it proved to be detrimental to my energy. I wasn't doing it the right way. My stomach was messed up, the whole thing. So when I did reintroduce meat, I immediately felt like, oh my God, I got it back. I'm energetic again. My sleep's better. So I went back to it. But now what I can do, Jeff? I can walk into a room, and if somebody says, all right, if you want to talk about vegetarianism, if you've never tried it, you can get up and leave the room.
You can give. Yeah.
Everybody else fucking leave. I will stand up and say, I've tried it.
I would leave.
Yeah.
Because I'm the person I'll wholeheartedly say that I could not try it. I don't think I would do well.
Right.
I hardly just don't eat enough that way.
I think you're man enough to admit also that if you never try it, you never really know.
No. So, yeah. But it'd be one of those things, I'm not going to give an opinion on it.
But of course, you don't know how it feels to put a nail in your fucking nose either. We're not going to go do that.
Yeah.
So different strokes for different folks, right?
But I'm not going to argue it with people on those things. Let people try some things, unless it's something stupid and very harmful, then get them and stop them. But
yeah, man,
you want to try that type of fitness. I always said, like, people always would mock when things like, I don't care what type of fitness you do. If you're out and moving, great, have at it.
Yeah.
As a trainer, all I do is walk. Cool. That's better than you sitting on your ass. People have hated CrossFit's stupid. Well, I'd say it's got a lot of people into some healthier times and helped a lot of people. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to argue it.
Yeah.
Oh, you powerlift. Oh, you're just a big fucking, idiot that picks things up. Cool. There are a lot of strongmen, and powerlifters. They do great things. It's a good tribe, good group of people. You want to do it all. You want to do marathons. Great. Have at it.
Yeah.
It causes you to take your focus in a positive manner. It's making you steps outside that circle, causing you to better yourself.
Yep.
As long as it's not causing harm in another, ill fashion, have at it.
Yeah, man.
You don't own a TV because you want to read all day long? Cool. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Like, don't mock people for wanting to go down a little different road than you do. I think the biggest thing is for most be religion. Oh, you're that? Who cares? You're Jewish, you're Christian, you're Catholic. Fuck. Who cares?
I had a ceremonious happening that proved a lot of worth for me a couple of years back. And I think it lends itself nicely to this, to dealing with the past and dealing with trauma and trying to throw things away before you've dealt with them, or maybe getting rid of things before you've really done the work and you've just sort of compartmentalized it, which is what a lot of us do in the military and law enforcement and first responders. Well, what if, I don't know, man. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I apologize. Trying not to be emotional. Okay. What if everybody realized that every person surrounding them was as equally as vulnerable as they are? So I'm going to go back a little bit further even. What if you just realized the compassionate part of anger and fear a little more frequently? Don't you think that might make your day a little better? Don't you think that saying, well, fuck, so-and-so was late, they fucked this up. Well, hold on a second, man. Like, give it a minute. Did that poor bastard, did he fucking hit a dog on the way in?
Well, it goes back to everyone's fighting a battle and you just don't see it. Everyone puts a different
Everybody.
front.
Yeah, man.
Some people will, male or female will put up the big ego, the machismo.
Yeah, dude.
Others will cower and hide, will become quiet. You don't know what's going on. And I notice this more, and you might too, like when I'm around kids, like my daughter's friends or out in public watching kids, you can see the drastic difference in a group of them if they're all siblings or friends. One can be really outgoing, nonstop talking. One's a little bit more shy, reserved. Like, you see these things as they get older come about.
Yeah.
And you don't know what each child or person's going through, but you see these things and you realize that at some point they'll break out of that shell.
Yeah, dude.
Cool. You're loudmouth. You won't shut up. This and this now. At some point, maybe you will just be so quiet you'll never speak. You'll see these things and it'll kind of catch you that everyone, even children, will put these little fronts on to get things to make the motion go, keep that boat
Yeah.
moving forward. It's not until we're older that we break those fronts down to address what's going on behind them. I did this because of such event or because I feel this way. It just takes a long time realization. Kids just don't see it. But as parents and stuff, it's something you can see in young children already start to do.
Well, I think if you carry that forward, you can see in adults, like maybe as you become more aware of what you do and the way that you project things, you start becoming more aware of what other people are doing. So let's say you're in line at a restaurant, there's 10 people deep, and you're sitting there and you're watching. As they behave, as they move, as they speak, as they carry themselves, you can see sort of meters in them as to how they are taking things personally and how they are assuming
tone
things
of the voice,
and how they're
loud,
trying to get other people to gossip about it so it will get them on board. And then they get this coup going, and you can watch these things happen. Group dynamics are a son of a bitch. Group dynamics are what caused police to show up with fucking tanks and riot gear because 1,000 people just decided they all wanted the exact same fucking thing at the exact same time, and you can't give it to them. You know what I mean? Like, group dynamics will fuck you up. You get one 12-year-old kid in a room with you. That's not a big deal. Well, what if there's fucking 20 of them? What are you going to do? You might survive a couple for a few minutes, but if they really want to have at you, what are you going to do? Group dynamics really do change things.
Watch people in traffic and stuff.
But all it takes for that group is for one fucking sheep just to sort of come out of line. I'm going to be over here. Now, that may be the black sheep for a moment, but then another one goes, you know what? Fucking black sheep's got the right idea.
I saw something the other day online of the black sheep is usually the one of the family that sees the true light that the others are not seeing.
And that is exactly the light that we need to shine on mental illness in this fucking country and maybe the world, because all these people that you say are crazy, you may want to sit back and imagine what is crazy. Is crazy really believing that what everybody's told you is the way that things are?
Dr. Seuss said something that we're all crazy.
Oh, I'm sure.
I can't remember what it goes.
I'm sure. There's no truer words that have been spoken, though. We're all batshit crazy until we figure it out.
I can't remember it. God, but it's another one of his rhyme things. But it talks about that and this is this and then you're crazy. Aren't we all crazy? I think we all are in that sense.
Of course we are. We all bought the lie. We all bought that a 40-hour work week was going to get us the Cadillac that the president was driving.
Yeah. Or
we all bought it.
If I work 80, 100 hours, I'll be a millionaire.
Just save. Put that money in the bank. Oh, wait, the bank's collapsed. We're sorry. That didn't work out for you.
You just got to create your own path in that, and people will look at you, say that you're this, and that, but that is your life. We get one of these. Do what you want. And as again, I think I said last time, it's Tom Boulay, I think is his name on Instagram. I always will put him holding whiteboards or big things up. Be selfish and do those things that you want to do. Read that book all day or veg out on the couch if you don't want to do anything. You want to work out, go work out. Go do this, spend that. Yep. I even think someone shared something from Shia LaBeouf. I don't follow him on social media, even if he is. Put on there like, quit that job, spend that money, buy this, do that, read that book, go on that vacation, do those things.
Yes.
Because sometimes you just need to.
Yes. Yes. There are going to be times where I'll share a moment where I needed to do something. In the recent week, I decided that I am retired, obviously. I need something to fill a little bit of a void as I wind Barrel Brands down. Well, I'm in a band. I'm a vocalist. I got two hands. We don't have a bass player anymore. We all looked at each other, and we all said the consensus was, well, Jeremy, you want to learn how to play bass. All right, let's get at it. So I start looking for some stuff, and being who I am, I can't just go to the store and say, I'd like to buy that and this. So
no, you can't. Yeah. You probably bought, someone's bass, mocked version of,
no, man, that's
such and such band.
No. It's nothing.
I walk in to give you some instance, and he has got two giant amps.
They're not amps. There's two giant they're not giant. They're 4x10 speaker cabinets. So there's 8 10-inch subs.
Music inclined, with this equipment. He's got all this, and it's like my height, and I'm a little over 5'9", and it's just like, oh shit, it's my retirement gift to myself. He doesn't half-ass anything. And I think that's a good attitude to have. If you're going to try something and go do it,
go
in full 100% with it.
Right. I have no excuse to not meet my goal if I have the tools that I
But
need.
you also had the background in that those
Right.
things will be
They'll come
tools
to me.
to you.
So
in
anyway,
the
so
band.
I have basically half of, like, because of a friend, I have basically a head, an amp, and a cabinet. But I found a matching cabinet, which would be like, oh my goodness, that's the playing out rig. That's the wall of sound that we are really after. But it was 2.5 hours, well, 3 hours away. It was near Kansas City. Well, lo and behold, the day my wife and I are going to go, I have just, my daughter and I are not seeing eye to eye. Like, shit's just not working out. Push comes to shove. You know what? The kids and the wife, they're going to go and they're going to get done some school shopping. They're going to do some stuff out. I'm going to have some me time, and that's healthy. The wife has said, cool, you do your thing. Within 20 minutes of them walking out the door, I went, what am I doing? We don't have to waste tomorrow to go get that. I'll just go get it today.
Yeah.
So I hopped in the car, and I took, all of about 7 hours total. Met an old Marine, retired Marine, had some good conversation. Threw it in the back seat of Grandma, brought Grandma home, and get home, and they're just getting home, and it's all good timing. And it was just
That was like me last
something
week.
that I had to do. My gut said, hey, it's cool, and not only will you satisfy an urge to help a hobby along and to fill some time, but you get time to yourself to sit and calm down from this happening that you had with your kids that wasn't so healthy, and you can reflect and digest, and maybe it will take you 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah.
And it did. It took me every bit of it. I talked to my mom for a bit. She helped calm me down about it. And at the end of the day, I got a smile on my face. I came home, hooked everything up. It's absolutely fantastic. And now as I play, it's so therapeutic,
No, it's perfect.
It's absolutely wonderful. But to be able to say, you know what? That's it. I'm making a decision right now. I'm gonna do the crazy thing. I'm gonna get in the car. I'm gonna be the crazy guy. Because everybody that I said, hey, I'm gonna go do this, they said, man, for what? You're nuts. Why? Just go get something, go do this. No. They don't make this anymore. I can't just go to the store and buy it. So it's another one of those stupid sentimental things that I don't like having shit that doesn't have some sort of sentimental value, or at least the potential for it, for me, to create my own sentimental value for it. I hate to say that it's an attachment, but I guess given the event, I do have certain attachments. When I travel, I like to have this bag. When I record, I like to use this equipment. So there are attachments.
You have a standard that no matter what you do, you will hover this line but not go below it. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, try really not to go above it too high, because it can be easily overdone. Like I've seen, we'll take a podcast, for instance, where somebody goes and they've got the green screen and it's this and that. And it's like, if you put some time into it, that could be really great, but it's still a green screen and you still know it's a green screen. There's something about having, some metal and some wood. And
you don't like need to have like a, look like you're sitting in the ocean kind of shit.
Yeah, like it's just a couple guys talking. So, I guess we could get a fucking Lunesta commercial and have like a couple bathtubs and we're like on a hillside. That would be cool too, I guess. But that's just not what it is, and that's not what we're trying to fucking build here. Having said that, we've talked about some dark stuff tonight, and it's not easy for me to come out and talk about it. Obviously, it wouldn't be for anybody, and I don't say it for attention or like woe is me, because that'd be pretty fucking disgusting.
No, you say it, and I know from the intention of your heart where it comes from to hopefully help somebody else with their journey.
Man, you don't have to come out in public and say it. Maybe you think it'll make somebody in your family uncomfortable. I don't know. Your family's got to be okay with it. My family's sort of like let loose of the reins, and they're like, hey, don't throw us under the bus, and we're good. And I try my best to do that. My family has really come a long way for me, because I've come a long way for them, and I hope that one day they, maybe they're listening to these or watching these after we're long gone, and they go, yeah, I remember that. I remember when he fucking changed. I remember when he started really, really wanting to be my daddy, and my husband, and not just the guy who's got a couple kids, says he's doing his best. No, he really is. He means it. He's not fucking around. And if he leaves this earth tomorrow, I tell you me, I may have a fucking grin on my face, because
hopefully that's kind of the way if you're going to leave the world, whether you know it or not.
I think
go
that
with a smile.
When we do go, it's perfectly timed. Hopefully, you either are not learning your lessons and you must start over right now, or thank you, sir, you have done a well job, or good job, ma'am, whoever you might
you're
be.
no longer needed.
It's time for you to move on. We've got some other shit for you to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe. That's what I firmly believe. I believe that we have a lot of work to do right here on the earth, but I think that we have to get that work done so that we're prepared to do other kinds of work. I don't fucking know what it is. Yeah. I'll never profess to
in the
think
next
that.
life, next dimension, universe, whatever it may be. Who knows?
I can't tell you anything other than I'll be here kicking and screaming into it and fighting every bit of fucking human conditioning and normalcy that you can throw at me. And every time you tell me I shouldn't fucking think this way or go do that job or do this or say that, I'm just going to do the opposite.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
So, yeah, no crying over spilled milk right now. I'm dealing with stuff, and I enjoy dealing it in this manner. I hope you guys enjoy receiving it in this manner, and you'll be with us next time. I don't know, we might talk about some jokes or something. We'll see.
Who knows? Face your stuff, guys. Deal with it in a proper manner, and you two can move forward in a good way.
Always move forward. Always move straight through. All right, guys. Love y'all. Be good. We'll see you next time.
See you.
Peace.